Excuse me. Yo. Welcome in. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to the people, man. I ain't been on Twitter in a little minute. It's been like 3 or 4 days for me, man. So welcome back to me. Welcome back to the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show, the daily NBA betting show where we just try to find some cash, man. I try to bring you guys my analysis, sharp analysis, so that we can actually cash some tickets and win some money, man. That's what it's all about. So do me a favor, hit the like button for me if you guys can. Also, if you guys are listening on Twitter, in the Twitter space, there is a link to the YouTube page. Be sure to check out the YouTube page, subscribe to the YouTube page. Tomorrow, Cashed It with Chris, the 7 a.m. betting show will be back tomorrow. So we only got 3 games tomorrow. I'll have early looks and kind of give you guys my analysis on those games early. So hit the like button for me and let's go ahead and get into it, man. We have a lot of games on the slate today. I'm not going to break all these games down in complete detail because that's going to take too long. Also want to hear what the community has to say and what other people have to, what other people have found to be, their favorite bets as well for a slate like today when we have so many plays. So I got a couple things that I locked in that I want to share with you guys. And then I'll kick it to you guys and see what you guys are on as well. So as always, let's get into it. So first game up, the Knicks just beat the Suns, beat the brakes off the Suns by 19 points. We got the Lakers going to Charlotte. That's a 7-10 game. We got four 7-10 games. Yeah, 4 7-10 games. So first one I want to attack is the Lakers in the Charlotte game. Spread opened at the Lakers being 1-point favorites. It shifted to Charlotte being 2-point favorites now. Lonnie Walker got ruled out in this game. I think Kelly Oubre is also out on the Charlotte side as well. Total in this one opened at 239.5. It's up to 242.5, 243 at some places. I hopped on the over, early this morning as soon as I woke up when it was 240. And I mean, if you know the trends, then you know, right? I'll give you guys my notes on this one, but pretty much no AD, the games goes over, right? So between the two teams, the over is 3-0 in the last 3 meetings, including the game earlier about 2 weeks ago. And it might have been last week, it feels like. No, it was 2 weeks ago in LA. That game went over as well. The over is 3-1. The over is 8-3 without AD. The Lakers are, including 7-2 on the road and 6 of their last 7. 86% the over is hidden. Only game that didn't go over was the second night of a back-to-back when they played against the Miami Heat. The Lakers also are a terrible defensive team, for anybody who didn't know. Ranked 27th defensively last 2 weeks on the road. They have the 8th best offense, which, is good for pace and scoring and being able to score points. 18th in pace. And then on the Charlotte side, they are 25th defensively. So 2 bottom 5 defensive teams last 2 weeks. Charlotte is 25th at home defensively last 2 weeks, and they ranked 13th in pace. So I took the over. Another thing I was looking at in this game was I was looking at Thomas Bryant. So Thomas Bryant had a really, really big game the other day against the Atlanta Hawks. 19 points and 17 rebounds. And I don't know if he comes out here and does that again, but what I will say is that just like the Atlanta Hawks lacked their interior presence without Clint Capella in that game on Friday, the Charlotte Hornets also don't have an interior presence that's going to scare anybody. Plumlee and Richards are not guys that's going to stop anybody from being able to score or get rebounds. So what I have on this is Thomas Bryant double-double is plus 100 right now. And I didn't play this. I'm kind of debating whether or not I'm going to put it in. Thomas Bryant double-double is plus 100 right now. He's over the 10 points in 3 straight games and 6 of his last 8 without AD, of course. He's over the 10 rebounds in 4 of his last 6 games, averaging 14.5 rebound chances his last 4 games as well. And then, it's always about the matchup as well. Charlotte, second worst rebounding team in the league. They're allowing the 4th most points to centers on the season and the 4th most rebounds to centers on the season as well. So I like Thomas Bryant to get in there, play a bunch of minutes, battle with Plumlee. Couldn't talk anybody off of his double-double. So I had that listed as well. But like I said, didn't get there. LaMelo numbers are continuing to go up. I know a lot of people on LaMelo today. I couldn't talk anybody off of him Triple-double watch. Could take his points, could take his rebounds plus assists, could take his assists straight. I think it's going to be a lot of volume for him today. And you also get a spot where, where he's without one of his guys, without Kelly Oubre. So guys like PJ Washington, guys like Terry Rozier also have a lot of value in this spot today, especially if you think about it from the standpoint of how much attention LaMelo is going to get. I'm pretty sure Patrick Beverley is going to do his best to try to stay in front of LaMelo, cut him off. Wasn't successful in LA. I don't see it necessarily being successful here today, but that should open up some more opportunities for some of these other guards to score. So a lot of points in this one, which is why a lot of points expected in this one, which is why I just kind of played the over and not try to figure out who was going to necessarily score all of them. Haven't heard anybody really talk about Bron today. Couldn't talk anybody off of him. I mean, Charlotte doesn't have a lot of small forward, power forward, type defensive guys either. So could definitely see Bron going over his numbers, coming off the big birthday game in Atlanta the other day. Should be rested. Couldn't talk anybody off Bron props either. Westbrook double looking to play, Markel said. But over or nothing with the Lakers. Yeah, and that's a fact. I was looking at Westbrook numbers too. I think Westbrook could have a big game. Like I said, didn't play any player props in this one. I'm more so just like the over. Didn't want to double dip in the game. But yes, a lot of player props to like in this one. Westbrook double is probably in play. I don't see a reason why that wouldn't be in play. I think he had pretty good numbers against them. Well, no, I think it was his first game back after injury when they played Charlotte earlier this season, about 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I think Westbrook is definitely in play for this game. So those are my notes on that one. Moving along to the Toronto and Indiana Pacers game. Not a lot that I was looking at in this game. It is a revenge spot for the Toronto Raptors. The Pacers did beat them earlier this season. Pacers are hot right now. They've won 3 straight games in a row. Just covered against the Clippers at home 2 days ago. And yeah, they kind of balling right now. The Raptors kind of got back on track against the Phoenix Suns the other day. But I'm not. This Raptors team is extremely difficult for me to back. They are just 8-9 ATS on the season. I know Fred VanVleet is still questionable, which makes this game difficult for me to bet. Toronto does get some of their. They do get Precious Achiuwa back. I think he's going to play in this one. So that's an interior defender that should help kind of limit some of the scoring from the Indiana Pacers. Halliburton right now, for me, it doesn't feel like he has a ceiling. This dude is playing out of his mind. I think leading the league in double-doubles, big time scoring in the second half. I took his points live in that game versus the Clippers at halftime the other day, and that was an easy cash. Halliburton's averaging something like 16.5 points in the second half of games over his last 6 games. So, maybe you see his points. He typically comes out slow because he tries to get everybody else involved. He does a lot of the scoring in the second half. So, couldn't talk anybody off playing Halliburton live if that number does come out the same. Pacers are hot right now. Like I said, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10. Toronto just 3-7 in their last 10 and 4-6 against the spread. So I don't really like backing the Raptors on the road, but I do see them. They're a scrappy team. I see them having potential to be able to cover this game and win this game, but I'm not gonna pick a side in this one. Moving along to the Pelicans and the 76ers. So this game is a rematch of the one that just took place last week. I really wanted to get behind Philly today in the revenge spot. First game back home after losing 2 and then winning the last one against the Oklahoma City Thunder on New Year's Eve. The game in which Joel Embiid had a triple-double, only scored 16 points. But Joel Embiid popped up on the injury report, and he's listed as questionable, which is why you see the spread kind of come down. Was at 5.5, it's all the way down to 3.5. On the Pelicans side, they were playing well, but we know that the Pelicans typically play better at home. They went on the road on the second night of a back-to-back after beating Philly at home, went to Memphis and got smacked up in that game. Zion was held to, I think, 16 points in that game. And that's how I was looking to play this one. I think Zion has a big game today. His points prop, I think it opened at 26.5 on some books, opened at 27.5 on other books. I like the over. I like Zion in a nice, get right spot for me, it feels like. So if you look at Zion over his last 5 games, he's gone over the 27.5 points. He typically scores 30 or more. he doesn't like really fall, exactly on the line. So he's gone over in 4 of his last 5. Only game he went under was the back to back that I just referenced against the against the Memphis Grizzlies. Steven Adams and Jared Jackson Jr. are a lot bigger defenders than Philly has to offer. Embiid also had um I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry. Uh I'm tripping. Um Zion also had 36 on New Year's Eve 2 games ago against this same exact team. And I think his services will be needed big time. Without BI again, BI is still listed as out in this game. And CJ, he scored a season high, I think 42, hit 9 threes. I don't see that happening again like he did in his last matchup. Zion also has shot 10, 16, and 19 free throws in his last 3 games. So to me, that shows that he's been ultra aggressive. I think having a day off is just going to be helpful for him. So I played his points over the 27.5. Like I said, I think he's a little more assertive. I don't see anybody on that team for the Philadelphia 76ers. I think PJ Tucker's a little bit too small. Joel Embiid's already, he's not going to guard him anyway, but Joel Embiid, is already listed as questionable with back soreness. So I like Zion to go for 30 tonight, but I do think, playing this points prop at 27.5 is a very, very solid look. So I did lock that in. I'm on Zion over 27.5 points in this game specifically. Really think that I think Embiid plays. I honestly do. I don't have anything to back that. I think most of the time when these guys get listed, when they get downgraded from nothing happened in the last game and you got a triple double to day of the game, now you questionable after shoot around with back soreness. Most of the time that means that it's an indication that you're not gonna play. But for me, I feel like Embiid plays in this one. I think that if he didn't play, the spread would go down a little bit more. And I feel like it hasn't. I also think Harden has a big game in this one. I didn't play Harden, but I do like Harden in this spot as well. The Sixers are tough at home, man. They're 14-5, which is one of the best ATS records. I'm sorry, they're 14-5 ATS at home. One of the best ATS records at home. 14-5 straight up and against the spread. So if they win at home, they cover the spread every single time. Also 7-3 ATS their last 10 and 8-2 in their last 10 straight up. So I like the Sixers. I think you could be getting a bit of a bargain with the Sixers right now, just because Embiid hasn't been ruled in. But if he gets ruled in, that number will shoot back up. Pelicans role players just don't play as well on the road. I talk about role players not playing as well on the road. Those guys like Jackson Hayes and Jose Alvarado and Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. I think Philly plays a lot better defense in this one. So I like that look a lot. I like Philly tonight, and I like Zion points to go over as well. Moving along to the Spurs in the Brooklyn game. Extremely difficult game to cap just from a motivation standpoint. Spreading this one opened at 13.5. It's come down to 12.5. I see some 12s as well. I think this is a game where you don't really try to worry about the side. Brooklyn typically does not cover these big spreads against these lackluster opponents. Teams that have a 35% win percentage or lower, the Brooklyn Nets are only covering below 40% of those games, as a home favorite. Also, Brooklyn coming off a 3-game road trip, home for 1 game, then they're back on the road again, is a tad bit of a funky spot as well. So I'll be looking at Brooklyn. I think their team totals are probably a little bit more in play. I know they're inflated, 121 and 124.5, I think is what I saw that. I'll be looking at the first half. Brooklyn is one of the best first half scoring teams in the league. The Spurs are the worst defensive team on the road. First half and full game. The full season and the last 5 games as well. San Antonio just doesn't play, a lot of defense on the road. They typically try to keep up with you in scoring. I think we just saw that, in the game against Dallas. We saw it with the Knicks the other day in a game that I was on the wrong side of, but somehow the Knicks after that, they've won both first halves and covered both games. So, that's a tad bit frustrating. But anyway, I think the Spurs, try to score in this one. Brooklyn's offense is a well-oiled machine right now, though. Not anything you really want to bet against. KD and Kyrie absolutely balling. TJ Warren off the bench is dropping buckets. I think Joe Harris and Steph Curry are both still in. Sumner, Ben Simmons has found his role on this team. Guys like Nicholas Claxton cleaning up on the offensive glass and defensive glass. San Antonio doesn't have a lot of big bodies, so I'll be looking at Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn team totals in this one would probably be my favorite play, but I didn't play anything in this one. Brooklyn is I think they had their most winningest month in franchise history in the month of December. They're 10-0 their last 10 games, 7-3 against the spread as well. A lot of the times they cover on the road, but don't cover these big numbers at home. Dallas and Houston. I think this one is pretty simple, man. You either take Luka in some form or fashion, or you just stay off the game. I'm not looking to bet on the Houston Rockets right now. This team is going through a lot of turmoil. I watched the post game interviews with Eric Gordon saying that this team hasn't made any progress over the course of the season. Did not look like he wants to be there. Probably end up requesting the trade. Houston's just extremely inconsistent. I can't put my money on the inconsistency that they are. Meanwhile, Dallas typically doesn't cover a lot of spreads on the road. They're just 6-11 against the spread on the road. They are 7-3 straight up, but 5-5 in their last 10. 7 seems like a big number for them to be laying on the road. It makes sense because Houston is trash at home recently, and just kind of they were teetering and towards winning some games and covering some spreads and looking like they could be a team that you could kind of bet on at times, but they regressed back to the mean and just haven't been playing well. The 2-8 last 10 straight up, 3-6-1 against the spread their last 10. So I think you play Luka in this one. I think you play Luka however you want to play him. Houston they're a pretty good rebounding team, but they're not the best rebounding team. We know Luka's the best rebounder for the Mavs. Assist wise, he should be able to get whatever it is that he wants. I think Luka still has the highest usage in the NBA right now. So I'd only be able to look towards taking his rebounds plus assists, taking his rebounds straight, his assists straight, taking his whole PRA. I think is 50.5. I like that number as well. Luka's cooking right now. I wouldn't be betting on anything for him not to go off, especially against the Houston Rockets. I hope that makes sense. Next game up, but I didn't bet anything on that one. Just to be clear, I'll just only be able to look towards Luka in that one. Next game up, we got Denver and Minnesota. I do got some notes I want to share on this one because this was something that I kind of been looking at over the last couple days since the Minnesota Timberwolves blew that second half lead against the Detroit Pistons on Christmas Eve. So let's see, get the banner up. So Denver's hot right now. I think the spread, let me just check and see what the spread is in this one right now. All right, so the spread in this one is 3.5 in favor of Denver. Makes me feel good because they had come down all the way to 2. I saw 1.5 as well. So to me, looking at this game, it's extremely easy to jump on the Denver Nuggets. They're the best team in the NBA right now. Recently beat the Boston Celtics yesterday in a game that had a lot of implications on it. Denver is the best team in the Western Conference right now, record wise. They've been playing like the best team in the conference record wise, and then you get the Boston Celtics, who are also the best team in the Eastern Conference record wise, and have been playing the best ball in their conference record wise. It felt like a trap yesterday, so I'm glad I kind of stayed off that one. I leaned Denver, but didn't play it. Of course, didn't tweet anything out either. Denver absolutely took care of them. I think it's a sleepy spot for Denver today. Looking at this Minnesota Timberwolves team, for me, it's just it's tricky because from a matchup perspective, I feel like Denver rested Jamal Murray yesterday, so he would be available. This is a divisional game for people who don't know. Denver typically takes these divisional games serious, but I feel like it's more so a Minnesota spot for me. They've lost. What I got in my notes is the Nuggets on the second night of a back-to-back. Last game, they had that funky about 30-minute delay that made the game go over in time, which to me equals the perfect letdown spot. This is also a third game in 4 nights, and they got the Clippers on deck. Nuggets are just 2-7 against the spread, traveling from home to road. 1-5 against the spread after a previous home win, traveling from home to road. The Timberwolves have lost their last 6 games in a row to finish the new year and failed to cover 5 of their last 6. But they did have a players-only meeting after the loss to the Pistons on New Year's Eve. They were winning that game by I think double digits at halftime. Came out and laid an absolute egg in the second half. Detroit smashed them, beat them by double digits. And like I said, they had the players only meeting. They were back. And that's typically a spot where I like to back teams. I know the last time it was the Toronto Raptors playing against the Orlando Magic after, a couple of losses for Toronto. Toronto had the players only meeting. They came out, absolutely smashed them. This is a tad bit of a different spot in my estimation, just because the Nuggets are a lot better, of course, than the Orlando Magic were at that time. Uh, I feel like Minnesota, you got to take them early. I feel like, and I know that Jokic typically plays the whole first quarter, but that's the only way I'd be able to look. I was actually upset, and I thought the line would open a little bit, at a higher odds for the Denver Nuggets just because they have been playing so well. But the Timberwolves being 2-point dogs in this one, to me, just feels a tad bit, like the market kind of agrees with what I'm saying. A team that's won 6 games, that's lost 6 games in a row, versus a team that's the hottest team in the Western Conference and they're only laying 2 points. So I would really, really love to catch Denver, catch the Timberwolves plus 4.5. I wouldn't take them full game just because Denver, to me, is the better team, especially without Karl-Anthony Towns being a part of this lineup. But I do think that there's something behind, taking Minnesota early. They're one of the best, first quarter, first half teams, specifically on the road, even though they are at home. But like I said, to me, it's more of a spot where you take the Minnesota Timberwolves just based on, not them being on the road, but just based on them being frustrated with the way that they've been playing. I think, today's a put up or shut up type game for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I'd be looking towards the Timberwolves early. Like I said, I think Denver probably could still cover the full game. But the Timberwolves seem like the right spot in this one. Emotional letdown spot for Denver. I could see it, trying to predict what's going to happen in this spot. So that's on my best slip. It's been in my best slip since last night. I've been listening, following all the beat writers, listening to the podcast earlier that the beat writer came out with, talking about the players only meeting. I can't push the button yet. I can't push the button to bet against Denver. But I do think if you're going to bet against Denver, you do it on the road. You definitely don't do it at home. I'm not fading Denver at home. Learned my lesson when they beat up on the Memphis Grizzlies. I had a lot of money invested in the Memphis Grizzlies that night about 2 weeks ago. So I think if you fade Denver, you fade them on the road. Like I said, it's in my bet slip. Just haven't placed the bet yet. Atlanta, Golden State. Atlanta is Atlanta's terrible right now. A lot of turmoil going on in the front office, of course. With Coach Nate McMillan, Trae Young. They just lost to the Lakers. Now they travel across time zones to, as far as they can travel, all the way to the West Coast to play against the Golden State Warriors. Another team I'm not looking to fade at home. But I do think that if you fade the Golden State Warriors at home, you do want to do it when they're a favorite. They don't perform as well as a favorite. Trust me, I know. When they're a dog, they've covered every single time. I think they're 4-0 now. I came on the last time I did a show was on Friday, I think. And I talked about back in the Blazers first half full game. I lost more money. Lost more money. In a spot where Golden State probably should have lost the game, Portland, had the ultimate letdown. So I'm all for fading Golden State right now. If they're at home, I don't care if Steph Curry's in the lineup or not. I'm just gonna either bet on them or bet, just stay off. I'm not betting on Atlanta though. So for me, this one's pretty simple. Just stay away game for me. Golden State is 13-4-1 against the spread at home. Atlanta is just 6-11 on the road. I know Golden State has some guys out today. Jonathan Kuminga's not playing. I think Clint Capella is also still out. Let me just make sure. Yeah, Clint Capella is still out as well. Wiseman is out. Wiggins is still out. Jermichael Green is still out. And I'm still not betting against them. Still not betting against them. Best of luck if you guys are. Total in this one is extremely high. Golden State typically wins with their defense. It's up to 237 and opened at 235.5. So I'll probably be looking towards the under. The Golden State Warriors can't score as many points when they don't have all those guys in. So I'd be probably looking towards Clay again, honestly. Clay's turned into Steph since Steph has got hurt. He shoots all the shots. He makes all the shots, especially when they're at home. I'm not sure what his player prop is, but I'll probably be looking towards Clay. He probably end up being guarded by Trae Young. So, DeJounte Murray can guard Jordan Poole. So I'll probably be looking towards some Clay props in this one. I hadn't really thought about that, but I'm gonna write Clay name down, do a little more work on Mr. Thompson to see if I want to get behind taking his player props. I know he's shooting about 100 times a game, so couldn't talk anybody off Klay Thompson points prop in this one. Atlanta struggles on the defensive end. Struggles on the defensive end. I think that's evident by giving up 300 points like they did against the Lakers. And the defense typically takes a step back on the road as well. So those are my thoughts on that game, but nothing official. Detroit and Portland, also a game that I can't get a good read on. Portland has been pretty lackluster recently, even with the full healthy roster. I know that last game in Golden State they didn't have Nurkic, but they had everybody else. They had Anthony Simons, they had Damian Lillard, Jeremy Grant played in that one. And I know it's easy to fade Detroit, but Detroit just covered in Minnesota. Detroit also, a sleepy team on the West Coast against these teams when they're big dogs. I think I got them at so the Pistons in non-conference games when they're on the road are 7-1-1 against the spread. I don't know if people remember, but this team covered against the Clippers back on November the 17th. They lost to the Lakers 128-121. They were 6-point dogs in that game. They lost by 1 point. So they are a point away from being 8-0-1 against the spread, ATS on the road. So one of the reasons why I'm not back in Portland in this one, you look at they covered against the Kings. Almost won that game outright. They were catching 10.5 in that game. They lost by 8. They beat the Nuggets outright. They beat the Jazz outright on back-to-back nights. They lost to the Suns, but covered. Only lost the game straight up. Lost by 6, but were catching 12 in that game. Lost against the Pelicans, but they were catching 11. They only lost that game by 6. The Grizzlies, they had a push. They were 11-point dogs in that one. They had a push. And the Timberwolves, they won that game outright. So real feisty team. I can see the under happening. This team is 6-3 in those games, including 4 straight, non-conference games where they're on the road. They're just a team that never gives up. They fight extremely hard all the way to the end. Jaden Ivey is, a big part of that. Bogdanovich is a big part of that. We've been talking about Durham a lot. I think they're healthy for the most part. I know Killian Hayes is still out serving a suspension for what he did to one of the Wagner brothers, but I'm not really looking to fade the Pistons right now on the road. So I don't really have anything in this one. I think that Anthony Simons could be in play because typically the Detroit Pistons don't defend guards well. So I think he could be in play. But for me, it's really difficult to figure out whether it's going to be an Anthony Simons night or it's going to be a Damian Lillard night. So I typically try to stay off of those guys when it comes to player props, just because for me, like I said, it's pretty difficult. And the last game up is the Miami Heat and the LA Clippers. So Miami coming off a really big road win where Tyler Hero hit the game winner the other night in Utah after Lauri Markkanen hit 3 free throws on a ghost foul because he was not fouled on that play. I think there's something to those game winners and how that carries momentum over into the next game. This is also the Clippers' first game back on the West Coast after an unsuccessful East Coast trip. This team lost their last game to the Pacers 2 nights ago. They also had a loss in Boston against the Boston Celtics, and they covered the spread by a point in that one, but they were favored in that game against Indiana. So we also saw, the report, and one of the reasons why the line is moving from 5.5 down to 1.5 now is because Kawhi Leonard popped up on the injury report. So to me, that screams PG over his points. I think PG points in at 23.5, 24.5. To me, it feels like a game where PG goes for, probably 27 to 30 points tonight. I'm not the biggest PG fan, but, without Kawhi, this is, really his team. You look at how you want to attack this Miami Heat defense, it's typically through, shooting the 3-point ball. I talk about it frequently. The Miami Heat do not do a good job of defending the 3-point line. I think, on the road in a spot like this, the Clippers probably, a little desperate for a win because they haven't had one. I'll probably stay off the side and just look at, player prop like Paul George, or looking at a guy like Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard been lighting it up. I know we probably won't get his lines until about 5 or 10 minutes before the game, but I think those are ways that you try to look at how to play this game. Tyler Hero been balling as well. I do think that, he probably won't see as much volume with Jimmy Butler being back in the lineup because Jimmy didn't play in the last game. But, I couldn't talk anybody off Tyler Hero if they wanted to play him. For me, I think my favorite prop in this game, staying away from Masai because it is, like I said, we don't know the news of PG, of Kawhi, even though I think he doesn't play. I think the strongest play in this game for me would probably be PG looking at his points. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys. Official plays for me. Oh, I didn't talk about this one. I got one more I want to talk about. So the Lakers, I took the Lakers in Charlotte. I took the over 240 in that game. Zion Williamson, I am on his points, 27 and a half. Thomas Bryant double sitting in the best slip. Minnesota plus 0.5 in the first half sitting in the best slip. I think PG points is another really, really good look. Klay Thompson points I'm gonna look at as well. And then the other play that I am on, though, another player prop. So I only got 3 official plays. Zion over his 27 and a half. The Lakers over. And the one I didn't talk about. Going back to that Bulls game. The Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think waiting on the news in this one, which is why I didn't make it official yet. Donovan Mitchell, though, over his 28 and a half points, I think is absolutely in play. Donovan Mitchell, so he, first of all, he's coming off a really, really poor shooting game in Chicago where he didn't shoot the ball well. 28 and a half seems extremely doable for this guy. You look at this Cleveland offense, and they struggle to score the ball. They just struggle to score the ball. And today they could be without Darius Garland. He didn't go through shoot around earlier today and is listed as doubtful for the game. I think he probably doesn't play. I don't know if we got updated news. Let me check real quick to see if I missed anything since I've been talking. I had to stop talking so much so I can make sure I got all the news. I ain't missed nothing. So hold on. Maybe I did. Hold on. Oh, Markieff Morris just got ruled out. Precious Achiuwa's in. Gary Trent Jr. remained in the starting lineup. Robert Williams is tomorrow. Bradley Beal tomorrow. Drew Giannis tomorrow. Caruso listed available to play. D'Lo now listed as questionable. Oh my God. Embiid is a will see, according to Doc Rivers. Said that Embiid told him he's starting to feel a bit of pain during the He started feeling a bit of pain during the OKC game. It would have been nice to know that after the game. So yeah, we don't have official news. I think Garland probably doesn't play in this one. Typically, when players don't go through shoot around, they typically don't play. So I like Donovan Mitchell. Even if Darius Garland is in, I think Donovan Mitchell has a big game. You look at Donovan Mitchell specifically against the Bulls. He scored 30 plus in 3 straight games before the last game, where he shot 5 for 16 and 0 for 6 from 3 in Chicago 2 nights ago. He's also going over in 4 of his last 6 games without Garland this season. We know Garland got poked in his eye early in the season, and it was the Donovan Mitchell show. He also had attempted at least 19 shots without Garland in. And we all know that, the NBA is about volume. If you're getting the shots, typically you're going to hit the player prop. So I love, that he's shooting the ball 19 times in every game except one, the last one against the Bulls, where he only shot 5 for 16, and he got some offensive production from Kevin Love off the bench. Caris LeVert also played pretty good. So averages. Donovan Mitchell is averaging 29 and a half points. 29 and a half points on 46% shooting without Garland, 21.3 field goal attempts, and shooting 43% from the field. I'm sorry, 43% from 3. Bulls also 3rd worst defensive rating the last 2 weeks on the road. So that's what I got for you guys. I like Donovan Mitchell to go over his 28 and a half. Like I said, I'm kind of waiting to lock that one in until we get the news on Darius Garland. Thomas Bryant double. Well, let me go through my officials first. So Donovan Mitchell over the 28 and a half. That's going to be an official once we get the news. Zion over the 27 and a half points, and the Lakers over the 240. I know that number's gone up now. Shout out to my guy Wham. I know me and Wham were talking about it earlier in the chat, and he said that the Lakers' first half typically goes over. So if you don't want to play the full game over in that game, you think LeBron and company kind of run out of gas late, then you just play the first half over as well. I think that's been I know it's been hitting at a very, very high rate. So those are my official plays. The other things that I'm kind of leaning towards, like I said, Thomas Bryant double is plus 100. He's gone over the 10 points in 3 straight games and 6 of the last 8. Over the 10 rebounds in 4 of his last 6, averaging 14.5 rebound chances his last 4 games. Charlotte, 2nd worst rebounding team in the league, and allowing the 4th most points and rebounds to centers on the season. And then also lean towards Klay Thompson points, PG over his 23 and a half, if the number is still sitting at 23 and a half. And those are my top looks for the day, man. Those are my top looks. Trying to stay off sides because they've been so weird recently. But yeah, this is the time, man. If you guys have looks that you want to share, send me a request on Twitter and I will get them out to you guys real quick in the YouTube comment section. Let me see what y'all talking about over here, and then I'm gonna go there. Hit the like button for me if you guys can as well. Yeah, Happy New Year, Derek. I see you in the chat, bro. Happy New Year to everybody. What up, though? Happy New Year. I've been under the weather, but still been liking and sharing the show. Appreciate your hard work, Chris. Let's get some cash for sure, bro. Appreciate you as well. Malik said took Donnie points plus assists, 34. Also, DeJounte Murray over 12.5 rebounds plus assists. Warriors give up a good amount of rebounds, assists, fantasy points to shooting guards, and I think it'll complement John Collins over 21.5 points plus rebounds because any decent power forward center does well against them. They do get rebounds. That's a fact. Power forwards and centers do get rebounds against the Golden State Warriors. Pistons beat the Nuggets at Denver too. Yeah, I talked about that one, Markel. Yeah, absolutely, man. Okay. I feel like we got some alignment in the chat. Like I said, you guys send me a request if you got anything you want to share. I'm gonna start getting some guys up right now. Hey Cam, you live, bro. Can you hear me?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, you good? What's up?
Yeah, it's good, man. Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year to you, Cam. What's going on, bro?
Just chilling, man. So yeah, I'm on a couple plays tonight.
What you got?
I got so the Brooklyn Spurs game. I'm on KD and Kyrie's 3-point props. Kyrie's over 3.5 at plus 115. He's hit that the last like 5 games straight. Just kind of one of those. I was looking at it, I'm like, really, this is plus money.
Who was that again? Who was that, Cam?
Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's just been snapping. I mean, I've been watching a lot of their games. They've just basically been unstoppable, those two, recently. So I was when I saw plus money on that, which is a number he's just been, and it's not just been hitting for. He's been clearing. He's been like 5, 6, 7, 5, 6. So like you probably play it up. And also like I'm not going to belabor the point that I always make. The Spurs are terrible at guarding the 3-point line, and even worse on the road. A lot worse on the road. So I really like that spot for him. I'm not gonna lie, I'll probably take the 5 at some point tonight. I'll probably get there, but for now it's just over 3.5. And Kevin Durant, I took him to record 3 threes, over 2.5. That's plus 170. Kevin Durant's a weird 3-point prop guy to play. He's one of those guys who like it's shocking if you actually look at it. He doesn't hit 3 that often, but when he does, it's real easy, and it's typically against the teams that have poor 3-point percentage that do allow a lot of threes. Right now, Kevin Durant's on fire, so I just looked at the number plus 170. I always attack the Spurs from the 3-point line, and I really like that line for him. He hasn't hit it recently, like he hasn't done it for a couple games, but that's also another thing that happens with Kevin Durant. He'll go like 2, 1, 2, then go like 3, 4, 5. So I'm hoping to catch him in that 3, 4 spot right now. D'Angelo Russell. Hopefully plays. I just saw that he might not play, but I took his points over 18.5. I actually like Minnesota tonight, to be honest. Same as you. Like I have a feeling that I think they could win tonight. And I think for them to win, you have a good D'Angelo Russell game. I always take, and I have been, and it hits every single time. Basically, just take the opposing point guard against the Denver Nuggets. It's better when Murray plays, to be completely honest. The line it hits better. It's less sweaty when Murray's in the game, and he's just not a great defender right now. Coming back from his injuries, you can just tell he hasn't been right, and it's just been a spot I've been able to attack and make money off of for the last like 6, 7 weeks or something crazy. It's just there. And then I'm also on my last play that's official will be Benedict Mathurin against the Raptors tonight over 14.5. He clears that. He's one of those players like he's streaky, right? Goes up and down. He's cleared that in the last like 4. But the main thing to look at is when he clears it. It's typically at home. He's much better at home than he is on the road. So he's one of those guys who'll either give you 15, 16, 17 points, or he'll give you like 6, right? Because he had a really poor shooting night. He's going to be up against our second unit. Gary Trent's in the starting lineup again. So at this point, you're kind of like, who's really going to guard him? I'm sure when they do their squats and switches, I'm sure they'll put OG on him when OG's playing against the second unit, but that's not That's not going to be his primary defender. And one thing I will say for anybody who's looking at that game, there's one look that I kind of like. I haven't got there yet with it, and it's taking Halliburton's under because, and I've said this a few times now, just everybody OG's covered in the last 5 or 6 games have gone under. Jalen Brunson, you name it, Jalen Brunson, Kawhi Leonard, everybody. Like, doesn't matter. Whoever's he's been on, they've gone under. It depends if we play him on Tyrese. I don't know what'll happen because Fred VanVleet hasn't been ruled in or out yet, so I can't make that call. I don't know who. If Fred VanVleet's in, he may not be on him. And another lean that I have, this is official, is Buddy Hield's over 3.5 threes in that game. He's cleared 5 through 7 the last 5 games or something crazy like that. He takes 100 of them. He's playing some of the best basketball of his career, which is why obviously the Pacers are winning games. So that's just my lean. But yeah, so I have those 4 officials. Bennett Mathurin over 14.5. That's sitting at minus 115. Kyrie Irving over 3.5. That's plus 115. Kevin Durant over 2.5 threes. That's sitting at plus 170. And D'Angelo Russell over 18.5. So those are my plays. Good luck to everybody tonight.
Okay. Hey, right back at you, Ken. Hope you cash him, bro.
I am.
Hope you cash him. V, let me kick it to you, and then LJ, I'm gonna come to you. What up,
V? What up, Chris? Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year to you, man. How you doing?
Good, man. I took yesterday off. I'm back today. Feeling ready to kick off 2023 the right way.
Let's do it.
So, first play that I'm on today is honestly DeMar DeRozan, over 25.5 points. So, the reason I'm loving this play is his usage and the workload he does on the road is just different. I'm not sure what it has been this season, but he's scoring 4 more points per game on the road. He's taking 2 more free throw attempts, and he's shooting just as well on the road that he is at home, 51%. He's had back-to-back games now shooting sub his season average, with a 41% game coming against the Cavs on New Year's Eve. They lost by 1, including him missing that game winner, which is just heartbreaking for this Bulls team to be in that. Earlier this season, these two teams met up. They were blown out. The Bulls were blown out by 32 points, and DeRozan was ejected after 32 minutes of play after going 3 of 9 in that game. He struggled in back-to-back games versus the Cavs. Both games have come in Chicago. Now he's getting them on the road, and honestly, he's got about 2 games left against them, and it's not much. DeRozan's not the kind of guy that's just gonna lay over and go to sleep and take an L here. I think he bounces back. So we saw what he did last January with this Bulls team and how he just went absolutely crazy. I think this Bulls team is still good enough to make the playoff spot and make a little bit of a run here. They've been beating teams and kind of staying in games that they shouldn't. I thought we're getting this kind of spread here with, telling me that I think Garland's gonna play.
Yeah, Garland got ruled out. He got ruled out, V. He just got ruled out, V. Garland's out.
Oh. Honestly, I still like this, but I think this game stays even closer then, and it gives the Bulls even better chance to win this game. But just take DeRozan. His usage has just been the best off back-to-back poor shooting nights. We know he doesn't shoot that bad. He's a career 50% shooter, shooting 51% from the field this season. I think it's more of the same tonight, and big game for DeRozan tonight.
DeRozan, okay. DeRozan in Cleveland tonight, okay.
In Cleveland, yeah. And then the one more play that I'm on tonight, it's going to be Siakam, over 26.5. This is definitely the higher end of where his line's been sitting all season, 26.5. But against this Pacers team that is just kind of giving up points from all over the place, I love it. They're ranked 24th versus power forwards, and they're giving up 115.8 points per game. They're also giving up the 28th most free throws per game, and Siakam's been taking 12.9 free throw attempts per game over his last 5. He's also played 40-plus minutes in 5 of his last 6 games, and he's averaging 21 field goal attempts in that same span. I'm not sure what the Raptors are doing or what their plan is, but it seems to everything runs through Siakam. He's been playing at an all-star level this season, and he's been the only bright spot, I think, of this Raptors team that everybody thought would be in contention for a playoff spot and probably a top 4 seed. Not this bad. So I think Siakam over 26.5, just because of the usage, the playing time that he's been getting, and the level of play that he's been playing at against this Pacers defense that, gives up a lot of points from all over.
Okay, AV, I couldn't talk you over. You got a strong argument there, man.
I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you. I did my homework.
Yeah, you definitely did, bro. You definitely did. I appreciate you sharing that, V. Best of luck to you tonight, man.
Best of luck to you too, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. LJ, kicking it to you, and then Bookie, I'm coming to you.
What's going on, Chris? How you doing?
I'm good, LJ. Happy New Year to you, my brother. What's going on?
Happy New Year to you, man. You know what I'm doing tonight? I'm just waiting to go to this game. You know, I'm taking a wife and my son.
Okay.
Go see the Rockets in Dallas. Go see Luka. That's her favorite player. So I'm gonna go in and let her go see him live. You know, get some wifey. Good kudos. You see what I'm saying?
I hear that. Yeah, LJ. Yeah, make her happy, bro.
But yeah, I'm gonna spit off my plays. I got 5 plays for you. You know, I think they're looking good. So let's start off with LaMelo, man. Lakers in Charlotte. I'm gonna take LaMelo PRA over 39.5. His last 5 games, he's averaging 24, 8, and 8, which is a 40 right there. And he had 23, 8, and 8 versus the Lakers the last game, which gives you a 39. So pretty sure he will be able to get that. He gets all the usage for that team. Plus, people turn up for the Lakers. You know, it's going to be a nice crowd. It'll probably be more Laker fans too. So I think LaMelo going to want to show up. I'm also going to double on his 2+ steals too, because he had 3 steals in the last game versus the Lakers. And the Lakers allowed the most steals on the road. And they've allowed 2+ steals to the guard position 5 out of the last 6 road games. So LaMelo should get that 2+ steals and his PRA. So let's move over to the Bulls and the Cavs. I took the Bulls plus 1 first half because they're 4-1 ATS in their last 5 on the road. And they've been playing good in the first quarter as well. 8-4 straight up in their last 12, averaging 30 points. So I took the Bulls for first half plus the 1, I believe. Raptors and Pelicans, I didn't have them. Raptors and Pacers didn't have them. No. I would look for Raptors first quarter, but that's just a lean. Pelicans and Sixers, I took the under. I think it's 111.5 first half because the Pelicans are 11-5 to the under first half on the road. And the fact that Embiid is questionable, he's probably not going to play. I think that this game could go under in the first half because both coaches are pretty much defensive-minded coaches, so it's going to be a lot of contested possessions in that game in the first half usually. And I'm with you with Zion, man, over 27.5 points. He's had 25 plus, 10 out of his last 12. And this is a sneaky one. I'm going to take his free throws made over 6.5 because he's averaging 10 free throws made in the last 2 weeks. And he's had 10 plus free throws made in his last 3 games. So that's a sneaky one. Free throws made over 6.5. And Philly allows the 3rd most free throws made in their last 3 games. So that should be a good look for Zion. Of course, man, with the Rockets, Luka, PRA, over whatever it is. It could be 60. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? He's going to cash it because he's had a triple-double the last 2 games versus the Rockets. He's averaging a triple-double. And I'm going to take his 2+ steals, too, because he's had 5 out of his last 6. And we all know the Rockets allowed 2+ steals to the guard position in every game. It didn't happen once against the Spurs. But every other game, the guard position has had 2+ steals versus the Rockets because they turn the ball over. They're allowing 16 turnovers in the last 5 games, which is number 1 in the league. And they allow the most steals at home. So that should be a good look for Luka. And my last one, Jokic. I'm going to take his PRA over 46.5, I do believe, because he's averaging a 52.5 the last 4 games versus Minnesota. And the last 5 games, he's averaging a triple-double. So that 30, 11, 11. So that puts you at 52 right there. So those are my plays. Okay.
Hey, LJ, I hope you cashing, bro. Bring the new year in right.
Hey, we will. So we're going to celebrate tonight. I took the Rockets first half, too. Didn't want to, make it official, but I'm on that, too. Rockets first half tonight. And I'm on, I don't know if I said KPJ PRA, too. Did I mention that one? Okay, yeah, I'm on him, too. KPJ PRA over 30.5, I believe, because he's averaging a 40 last 4 games. And if he don't get in foul trouble, KPJ don't pass the ball, Chris. Like, he's going to shoot.
Right.
Seriously, unless he gets double teamed. That's the only way he usually passes the ball.
Right.
So he's going to get all the uses in. He gets that pretty much every night. So those are my plays. Okay.
Hey, best of luck, LJ. Best of luck to you, bro.
Appreciate you, Chris.
Absolutely, bro. Appreciate you more. Bookie, coming to you, and then Frag, I'm coming to you, and then Ben.
Yo, what up, Chris?
What up, Boogie?
I'm gonna start with these 2 unders I got. People can suffer through it, man. I don't care. But it's actually crazy, man. My brain's moving so slow today. I took KPJ actually, as you KPJ's under threes, and I meant to put it with just another money line I really liked, and I thought the Celtics were playing today. Man, I'm dumb as fuck. I posted that officially, but I just took it again with Portland money line. Like you said, I'm still a little weird on that because especially Detroit, they're just a team that can like sneak up behind. Doesn't matter if they're plus 19.5, they could end up winning the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still liking it. Let me get to my notes real quick. So Porter's averaging 2.1 3-pointer made on 6.1 attempts, going over 2.5. Only 13 of 35 games, hitting only 37%. Over the last 15 games, Dallas allows the 7th least 3-point attempts and 6th lowest 3-point percentage. Over the last 15 games, KPJ is attempting 83% of his 3-point attempts from above the break, where Dallas is allowing the 3rd least attempts and 5th lowest percentage. Over the last 30 days, the Mavs allow the least 3-pointers made to point guards. In his career as a Rocket, he's over in just 2 of 8 versus Dallas, averaging 1.8 3-pointer made on only 4.6 attempts. So I just like him to go under. I maybe wouldn't pair it with Portland. Look for something else you like, maybe an alternate spread, maybe another prop you like. That likes minus 185. Another play that I really liked tonight, if he does play, I saw he was just real questionable about an hour ago. D'Angelo Russell under 3.5 rebounds, minus 145 on points bet. It's 2.5 everywhere else. I think FanDuel had it for a little bit at 3.5 at minus 160 or something like that. Russell's over this line in just 4 of 14 games without Cat, averaging 3.1 rebounds and only 6 chances with a 8.6 feet rebound distance, the second longest in the rotation. Denver's allowing the least rebounds to point guards of the last 30 days and the full season, likely due to the fact that Denver just had the 3rd lowest 3-point frequency. It shoots a ton of shots around the rim, just resulting in less long rebounds for a guy like Russell to grab. Based on the averages without Cat, he hypothetically would have to get perhaps 66% of his chances. He's only grabbing about 50% on the season. Under in 6 of 8 versus Denver since joining Minnesota. Pace down spot for Minnesota as their top 5 in pace, and Denver's bottom 3. So I really like that. And then a play I'm trying to get myself on. I'm not sure how I want to play it yet, but Gordon Hayward tonight. He's averaging 15.7 points in 35.5 minutes, playing 36 plus minutes in all but one game without Oubre over the last 2 seasons. He's gone over his points line of 14.5 and 4 of 6, and has scored 14 plus and 5 of 6 without Oubre over those last 2 years. 2 plus 3-pointer made in 5 of 6, averaging 2.2 3-point attempts on 5.7 3-point attempt, or 2.2 3-pointer made on 5.7 attempts. Sorry, and he's getting a plus 140 line on his 3-pointers. Mostly in part due to the fact that Hayward's only shooting 19% from 3 in December, but this is a guy who shot 38+% over his last 3 seasons on a plethora of attempts. So today's the perfect day for some regression as the Lakers as the Lakers are allowing, I think it's the 3rd most 3-point attempts and the 1st most points. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, they allow the most points and 2nd most 3-pointer made to small forwards over the last 30 days. So perfect day for some regression for Hayward in a game where without Dennis Smith, one of the Martin brothers, and I think Oubre out, he's definitely going to have a lot of time to play today with the lack of depth. And I think I liked the 2 plus 3s at plus 140, but obviously with the bad shooting percentage, maybe don't go crazy on that. Maybe put 0.25, 0.5. I think that's what I'm going to get on it. And then I like his 14.5 points. If you want to play the 14 plus, and then maybe alter with the Charlotte higher spread and get that to the odds you want, I like that too.
Okay, you got some sharp looks, Bookie. Hope you cash them, bro.
Appreciate it.
Let me kick it to Frag real quick, and then Ben, I'm gonna come to you.
Yo, what's good, Chris?
What up, Frag? How you doing, bro?
How was your weekend, man?
It was good, bro. I can't complain, man. Can't complain. How about yours?
Yeah, so last time I was up here, I had pitched Hero 19.5 and
Cash.
And CJ McCollum 20.5.
Cash.
Like 40. And I'm not gonna do any. I'm gonna go right back to them both. Tyler Hero 19.5 and then CJ McCollum 19.5. They both set up the same line. Not much analysis on both of them. I'm just gonna go right back to the well. Tyler Hero coming off a game winner. He's gonna keep it going. I like when Jimmy Butler's in the lineup. He's not much of Jimmy Butler's not much of a he could score, but I watch him a lot of times. He's not really I'm gonna get 30 this night. He's more of I'm gonna get 8 rebounds, 10 assists type guy. You know what I mean? If he got to score, he got to score. But I think Tyler Hero is the one that pushes the needle for them as far as putting the ball in the basket. So those are two looks I have. I'm just gonna run them back, and my last play is gonna be I'm gonna do LaMelo 10 assists with 10 rebounds, and then Westbrook 10 rebounds, 10 assists for like $5. I think it pays like $600 just for some fun shit, just to see if you never know, both get a triple double. And then my last play is gonna be Karis LeVert PRA. It already had swung. I had that at 24.5. The line is at 26.5 with the Garland news just coming out. I watched that last game against the Bulls, and the way he was playing, man, I could see him getting this with just his points. But I also like the way he's also facilitating. They don't got nobody. It's just him and Mitchell. Everybody else on that team can't do anything for themselves. It's up to Garland and not Garland and Mitchell. Well, Garland Mitchell. But LeVert is taking the spot of Garland, so it's just up to them two to get it going for them. So I like his PRA. It moved, though. I got 24.5. I just had a feeling Garland was out. They had LeVert's line at 16.5 for his points, so I just put two and two together. So I had his PRA 24.5. It's at 26.5, so yeah.
Okay, Fred, you got some good looks today, bro. Okay.
Yeah, one more thing.
Yeah, what you got?
I placed the way. This is going to be a future bet. I had placed Denver Nuggets to win the chip plus 1,300, man. What they've been doing the last couple games, I can't ignore it. I think they got the deepest team in the West, honestly. The way Jokic is playing, he's a mismatch for any team. And as long as MPJ, Jamal Murray, and them boys keep playing like that, I think plus 1,300, man, that's some real good value.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was listening to Coach Mike Malone yesterday after his post-game interview. He was talking about how he challenged his team defensively, because before that game when I took him, when I was on Memphis in that game, it feels like 2 weeks. I think it was 2 weeks ago. They were ranked 27th defensively, overall, and he challenged them that game, and their defensive rating has just been getting better and better ever since then. So I know they held Boston under their team total yesterday, which is something that a lot of teams that can't say that they've done. Holding a lot of teams under their team total. So I couldn't talk you off of that one, Fred. That's a good look by you.
And then one more thing, not even a play. That Eric Gordon interview, man, that shit had me weak, man. The way he said that shit, man, I was crying.
Yeah, he don't want to be there no more, man.
He was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, he want to go to a contending team, and it makes sense. Like, he probably he looked at it as the vet on the team, but he also got to sacrifice his playing time so the young guards can develop. So he probably just wants to be on a contending team. So maybe he'll talk into a buyout or get traded or kind of request a trade or something before the trade deadline comes.
Yeah, and then I'm also tell V on that DeMar prop.
DeMar, okay.
He's one of my favorite players, so fuck, I'm gonna ride with DeMar.
You can ride with him because he's one of your favorites. In that case, I got to take Bron tonight there because Bron one of my favorites, and the Lakers need a win. So, guess I'm on Bron tonight too. But now I'm messing with you, Frank. Best of luck to you, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Good luck.
Absolutely. Ben, kicking it to you. What up, Ben?
Hey, how you doing, Chris? I hope your New Year started well.
Yeah, man, pretty good, bro. I can't complain, man. Just chilling with the family, relaxing. How about yourself?
We ended the year with the Embiid triple-double win, and then we started the year 1 second in New Year with the Ohio State missing the kick. So let's hope it continues a little better now. I mean, I'm not even an Ohio State fan. I just bet their money line, and what happened. But anyway, onward to today, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm with Cam on D'Angelo Russell. I'll just add a little to it. Obviously, we know the Nuggets just bleed the point guards. Russell is over 18.5 in 9 of 13 games this month. In every game that he has gone over 18.5, he's been 21.5. The 4 unders he has have been very predictable. They're against teams who are in the bottom 8. All 4 unders are in the bottom 8 in field goal percentage allowed and points per game allowed to point guards over the last 15 games. So, right, he's going under in bad matchups. He's going over in good ones. We got a really, really good one today. I'm crossing my fingers that he plays because obviously I know he popped up on that injury report as questionable. So hoping it's just some manipulation.
You breaking up just a tad bit, Ben, if you can hear me.
1.5. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good now.
You got me now?
Yeah, you good.
Now? Cool. I'm on Bam Adebayo over 21.5. He crushes Zubac. You look at his last 4 versus Zubac, he's over 3 of 4. With the one game that he didn't go over, he was at 21, so right on the hook. The reason I think he went under that game is they benched Zubac, right? The whole edge here is that you can't really play Bam off the floor because he's a good enough defender to guard the perimeter. So you just kind of got to wear it with Zubac, you know. Most centers right in this league, you have the ability to somehow play him off the floor, but Bam obviously is kind of that 4-5 swing man, kind of hybrid center forward. So it's hard to get him off the floor, and he just cooks Zubac. Not only does he cook Zubac, but it feels like the last 2 weeks everybody's been cooking Zubac. And I believe he's either the Clippers are the first or second in the league in points allowed in the center position. You look at Bam's last 10 road games, he's over in 7 of 10. The 3 unders. 2 of the 3 were against Minnesota and Memphis, who are the bottom 2 in the league in field goal percentage allowed to centers. And then I looked at the other one. I'm like, how the heck did he go under against OKC? Because he should be cooking OKC. That was the game when Hero took 17 threes and dropped like 40 points. So Hero just started hogging the ball and making everything that day. You can't really get mad at that. But you look at this game and you got good defenders for the Clippers kind of littered across the court. Except Zubac. Right, so we got the best matchup with a guy who's dominated this matchup in the past, with other players who have dominated this matchup recently. I like Bam a lot tonight. I'm on Siakam too. Power forwards, especially like real power forwards, not like 6'7" power forwards. We're talking guys who are 6'8" to 6'10", have just been dominating the Pacers because they don't start anybody on the floor over 6'6" other than Miles Turner. They're really, really small. Depending where you look, some sites have Neesmith listed at 6'5", so they just don't have the size to contend with Siakam tonight. So I think his number's high for a reason. I think he's going 30 plus. I'll gladly take the 26.5 or 27.5, whatever I got it for the other day. I'm sorry, I don't remember. And then what was my last one? Oh, Thomas Bryant over 26.5 PRAs. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, right? A couple weeks ago, we were saying, man, maybe we aren't taking centers against Charlotte this year. Right.
Right.
That has changed very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
They're number 1 in points allowed to centers last 7 games, and rebounds allowed to centers last 7 games, and 3rd in assists allowed to centers last 7 games. I went for PRA instead of points and rebounds just because Thomas Bryant's had a rebound in an assist in 7 of his last 8 games. So he's only had 1 0-assist game, and he's had 3 games in the last 8 where he's had more than 1 assist. So we're getting an edge there because it was 25.5 or 26.5. If he can't go over this line against Charlotte, I don't know who he's going over a line against. He's over this in I think it was like 4 of his last 7. So more than he's not. Not over this whole year. If he can't go over it now, especially with no Lonnie Walker, right? That's just more shot attempts. I don't know who's
Ben, you breaking up again if you can hear me.
going over lines on to buy and then waiting to see if I didn't see if we had any news on Nurkic yet or not.
No, we don't. We don't have anything yet.
If Nurkic is out, I really like Duran's rebounds there, just because he's going to physically dominate any backup center that Portland has. And if Nurkic is in, I like both of their rebounds, because I would imagine Duran's rebounds tick down a little bit, or we get a little bit less juice. And then Duran plays so exclusively around the hoop that Nurkic is just a good enough volume rebounder that even if Duran gets his, Nurkic is going to get his, because he's just going to be in the paint literally the entire game on defense. Because Duran takes almost no shots from more than 8 feet from the rim. So that's kind of what I'm looking at tonight.
Okay. Hey, good looks. Good looks, Ben, for sure. I couldn't talk you off of those. Good looks, bro. Real quick, Mark, let me come to you, and I got a couple other things I want to share real quick. Just looking at some of the beat writers and some of the news that we kind of getting in based on some of these injuries. But I want to kick it to you first, Mark. What's up?
Yeah, without Darius Garland, I was just looking at these splits here. Mitchell at home without him, it's like 3 games. Because I'm looking at his steals. So I think he's good for 2 steals without Darius Garland, and that's plus 140 on DK. I think it was plus 130 something on MGM. And there's 3 games with his home splits without Garland, where in those 3 games he had 1 and then 2 and 3 steals. And then when I removed the home team splits, he's still looking, really about even the cover those 2 steals. So like I think the books should be more near even odds on his 2 steals, and with plus 140, I'm taking it. So that's what I got on this game.
Okay. Best of luck to you there, Mark. I hope you cash it, bro.
Thanks.
Definitely hope you cash it. Yeah. So the Minnesota play, like if you didn't know it, like it's instantly off the board when you get the reports that D'Angelo Russell and Naz Reid are both a game time decision tonight. So, maybe the players only meeting is, kind of, meaningless in the sense that you're playing against a really good divisional opponent in the Denver Nuggets. So, like I said, I put it in my best slip. I'm glad I didn't play it. A lot of these things I'm not playing until the absolute last minute because we don't get the injury news until the absolute last minute. So, yeah, I'm not official on that, and I'm probably gonna back off of that altogether. I really wanted Minnesota first half plus the half a point, but I'm definitely not taking it. This team already short without Cat. They would be a lot shorter without D'Lo and without Naz Reid. So I probably wouldn't play anything in that game. Might be an absolute massacre without both of those guys. But I do still, see Minnesota playing hard, but they just don't have enough talent, especially with Jamal Murray being back in that lineup. D'Angelo Russell being out does create a opportunity for a guy like Jalen Noel off the bench, who also played pretty bad basketball in that Detroit matchup 2 days ago. So potentially looking at him, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not playing anything. The other thing I wanted to mention real quick is that I know we got a lot of LaMelo love. Dennis Smith Jr. Has missed the last 18 games and 22 of the last 24 with a left ankle sprain. But he is going. Hold on. Steve Clifford said pregame that because of how long. So he is going to play today. Dennis Smith Jr. being back does take away from some of LaMelo. Of course, he's going to be limited, but that is going to take away some of the production for LaMelo. So I think that's important to mention. I also think, it could eat into this as well. But looking at D'Lo, I just got a notification from one of their beat writers. Looking at Terry Rozier in this spot. So Terry Rozier, I saw it earlier. He's going to be mic'd up for tonight's game. Sometimes when players put those mics on, they play better. But I also think I'm not going to just take a play based on a guy being mic'd up. But I do think it's something to, a lot of people being on LaMelo. Terry Rozier probably isn't highly bet on. He's averaging 23 points per game in his last 4 matchups against the Lakers. He scored 20 plus or more in 4 straight games against the Lakers as well. So I think that's a interesting pivot. I know some people like to be contrarian, and that's a way to look at a player prop on the Charlotte side without it necessarily being on LaMelo. Not talking to anybody off LaMelo because I think he can still get his numbers, but we know that the Lakers, if Patrick Beverly's going to be try to take on LaMelo Ball, not to say he's going to do it successfully, that does kind of open the door for Terry Rozier to be, a scorer. He can fill it up. We know Terry Rozier can go for 30 if he gets hot. Extremely fast-paced game, a lot of up and down. I can see Terry Rozier going over his point prop, especially with Oubre being out. So just some, a note there, not anything official, but I do think that that's worth mentioning. Like I said, he's going to be mic'd up over 20 in 4 straight games, averaging 23 against the Lakers in his last 4. Also, the other thing I wanted to mention real quick is Evan Mobley got ruled out while people were talking. Without Evan Mobley, I played Kevin Love rebounds last game. They were 8.5. He barely got there with 9 the other day, and that cashed. I was also on his double-double, and of course that didn't cash because he was 1 rebound short, but he did hit 4 or 5 threes, I think, against Chicago Bulls. The Bulls are the third worst defense on the road last 2 weeks. Kevin Love double-double tonight. I was looking at that while people were talking. Plus 115. I think Kevin Love gets the double-double tonight based on volume, based on, Chicago Bulls, based on his ability to be able to rebound the ball. Without Evan Mobley and without Jared Allen, without Evan Mobley and Darius Garland in there, they're going to be looking for offense. Some of these guys that stand around for, not just stand around, but some of these guys that play for Cleveland are offensively challenged. I'm talking about guys like Lamar Stevens. I'm talking about guys like Seti Osman at times. Seti can score, but he can be offensively challenged. So I look for Kevin Love to pick up his offense. I like his double-double at plus 115. I'm probably going to end up playing that, but I just wanted to kind of share that. Not official play for me, but I wanted to share that as well. So Terry Rozier over his 20.5 points to get off of LaMelo and play the contrarian role. I gave you guys the reasons why. Kevin Love double-double being plus 115. Really like that look without Evan Mobley being there, and the offensive firepower that's going to be needed, against the Bulls team without Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. And then the other thing I wanted to mention real quick before I go over my officials is this other tweet this other notification I got. Looking at the Raptors. So, excuse me. Looking at the Raptors, right? So this is a revenge game for the Raptors. I talked about that earlier against the Pacers. The Pacers have been red hot, right? But Josh, I think it's Lewinberg, one of the beat writers for the Raptors, just reported the Raptors have only had their 6 top players, that being Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, OG Anunoby, Siakam, Scotty Barnes, and Precious Achiuwa available for 6 of their 37 games so far this season. Tonight will be the first time those guys have all been active since October the 28th. With Porter still out, they haven't played a game with their full rotation this season. So I think that's interesting to note because Raptors probably win tonight. I don't know what the spread shifted to. I know, like I said, Fred VanVleet did get ruled in, and that's another very, very interesting angle. It's looking at the Toronto Raptors. We talk bad about Toronto at times just because they aren't healthy, and sometimes you kind of scratch your head at the way that they play. But them being 2-point favorites, I think is a tad bit telling. If you could have got the line earlier before Fred VanVleet got ruled in, that's even nicer. But if you kind of wanted to stay off the spread, just take them on the money line minus 126, I think is also in play. So just some other looks I kind of wanted to share with you guys. I hope that helps people with their analysis on those games specifically. But like I talked about, a lot of things sitting in my best slip. The only thing I placed already was the Lakers Charlotte over 240. That total's going up to 242. But these two teams did just score 260 points. 270 points, I want to say. 260 or 270 in Charlotte last week. So I still like that game to go over to 242. But like I said, I played it at 240. Also, I played for the people who joined late. I played if I can find my notes. I played Donovan. Well, I didn't play Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to play Donovan Mitchell. I know his point prop went up to 29.5. I still like that. So I'm going to play Donovan Mitchell 28.5 points. Also Zion over to 27.5. And like I said, I still do think that Embiid plays tonight, and I really like them. If Embiid does play, I like them to cover that spread tonight as well. So those are a couple official looks for me. Just those 3. Thomas Bryant double-double, I think is definitely in play. I talked about that earlier. I think Clay points are in play just because Atlanta plays no defense and Golden State's back home still at home and rested. And Clay shoots the ball pretty much every time he gets it. I talked about PG points with no Kawhi. If he is listed as out, I think that's in play. Also, his threes are in play. He shoots a ton of them. And then I talked about Luka as well. Couldn't talk anybody off Luka. Rockets can't guard anybody. I don't think they can guard the cones at practice. And Luka's just on fire right now, so couldn't talk anybody off Luka either. Those would be the top looks, I think, on today's cards, man. The top looks on today's card. Like I said, tomorrow I'll be back starting the morning show up again. 3 games tomorrow, so I'll be back to break that card down. Hit the like button for me on your way out. And as always, none of this is financial consultation. It's all theory and logic, SDQL and trends. Bet with your head and not over it, man. Best of luck to you guys tonight. I'll see you guys again tomorrow.